everyone. Here's a second workout for you to do while you're in social distancing so you can follow along from home. Again, I'll give you some levels so anything can be modified for you. If you're finding difficulty with anything, you can just take a break for a second and come back in and join when you're ready. We're going to start today laying on our backs for our warm-up. In the center of your mat, feet flat, head even, hands on the floor. When we're in this position, we want to make sure we have a slight curve behind the back of our neck and a slight curve in our lumbar, our lower back. Everything else should be touching the floor. If you had a glass of water or tea or coffee balanced right here on this lower part in between those two hip bones, you would want to make sure the water was level so it wasn't splashing back towards you or pouring out forwards. That's how we find our neutral position. From here, we're just going to take a few long, deep breaths. We breathe in, filling up our rib cage as much as we can, and breathe out all of that air. Take it in, ribs expand in every direction, and let all of the air come back out again. Nice deep breath in, and as we breathe out, we start to feel our lower abdominal muscles engaging. We're not clenching or tensing, but just starting to feel everything kind of turning on or waking up. On your next breath out, you're going to roll that pelvis towards you so the lower back touches the floor, and then breathe in to roll the hips forward again. We breathe out, spill the water towards yourself so they're not level anymore. Breathe in and bring it back. Just pressing that lumbar gently into the floor. We're not forcing through our legs. My glutes are not really doing anything. They're off. They're just sitting there. I'm drawing it in and up with my lower abdominals here. Good. On the next one, we breathe out and start the same roll so the pelvis tilts, the lower back touches the floor, but then we start to lift all the way up into a nice shoulder bridge position. We breathe in and bring our arms above our chest. As you breathe out, the arms come overhead and you're gently going to place your spine one vertebra at a time down on the mat, all the way back to that neutral position with a small lift in the lower back and the arms come down. We breathe out, so you tilt, roll, press all the way, one vertebra at a time to the top. Deep breath in, collarbones wide as those arms come over. Let all the air out as you place the spine gently back on the mat. Breathe in, come to neutral, hands go over. We're going to start with the arms above our chest now, so no support from the arms. If you need to leave them down, you can. We breathe in, prepare, breathe out, roll back, press to the top. From there, same as before, arms come down, and we roll through the spine. Breathe it in, rock to neutral, hands come above our chest. Breathe out, press through the heels, roll to the top. Breathe in and reach, and as you breathe out, really try and put the spine long down the mat. Reach away from yourself almost. And come down. Hands come behind our head. And we have three options. I'll start with the more difficult one and I'll work my way down if this is too tough for you. Hands are going to come behind our neck. Feet are going to squeeze together. Knees are going to squeeze together. We breathe out and curl up, in and come down, out to come up, in to come down. If that's a little tough, the feet can come down, back to hip width apart. We breathe out to come up and in to come down. Elbows should just be in your peripheral vision and no higher. If it's still a little tough, hands just reach for your heels. So our arms are off the ground, but not too high. We reach, hold for a breath in here. Abs are nice and flat across the top. Breathe out, lay down. Breathe in at the bottom. I'm going to go back to that first option. Breathe out, hold and breathe in. Flat across here, not spilling that tea. Out to come down. in to relax. Last one. Breathe out. In. Out to come down. Good. The next one, you're going to pop your hands back down by your sides, and we're going to lower 1 foot at a time down to the mat, just to tap the toes and then bring it back up. Alternate to the opposite side. The trick here is holding everything nice and stable. So you still want to be able to feel the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, and that big flat portion of the back of the pelvis touching the floor. Maintaining that nice curve in the lumbar, and we're just moving from the hip. So the knee isn't straightening or bending anymore. It's just a little lift and lower of that leg. If it's a little tough, feet can come down, and we alternate this way instead. Last 2. Last 1. Feet are actually going to meet in the middle now at the top. Arms can come out wide. They can go to a diagonal or right out beside you. Palms up or palms down. Preference is yours. All you're going to do is breathe in to tilt the knees toward the TV screen or the computer screen, whatever you're watching on. Breathe out to use the waist to draw them back. Breathe in, tilt away from me. Breathe out. Come back a little. Few things while we're doing this. You want to keep those knees glued together. So if you had them taped together, the hip actually has to lift off the floor, the opposite hip, as it comes away, and then the hip goes back down as we breathe out. You also want the opposite shoulder pressed nice and flat against the floor, and not just the top of it, but the whole shoulder blade, the whole shoulder girdle, so all of it should be touching the floor. If you want to make it a little harder, you go over with an extended leg and bring it back. Switch through center, over with that extended leg. Can't go too far on that side, switch it back. We'll do one more to each side, so whatever option works the best for you. Make sure you stop before that shoulder comes off, and we really wrap through the waist as we exhale and draw it back. Feet back together. Now, the last one, I'm going to give you 3 options again. The hardest one is feet up, hands behind head, right at the base of your skull. We breathe out and twist our top rib to our bottom hip. So we're drawing a nice diagonal there. A little tough, the feet go down, pelvis stays heavy as we twist through. This one's called our hula. Again, if it's too tough, hands come together. You're going to draw little rainbows over your knees. You can hear that this one's not very easy for me. I shake a little when I try this one. So hip stable, rib draws across to hip, elbows stay wide in the peripherals. Beautiful. From there, that's our warm-up done. We're going to do leg circles. So if you've done this with me before and you want to pause the video to stretch your hamstrings first, you can. If not, we will get straight into it. One leg comes up toward the ceiling. Now I say toward the ceiling because I don't want you pointing it right at the roof. If, like me, your lower back rolls into the mat and your pelvis lifts up. If you've got shorter hamstrings or you're a little tight, I go toward the ceiling, but I stop before my spine starts to curve backwards. Either the resting foot can be on the floor and the knee up, or the whole leg can be on the floor. Arms are out to your sides. We breathe in. Draw the circle across our body first, and as it comes around, we breathe out to lift it back up. 2, draw across your body, down, out to the side, and up. 3, trying to keep our pelvis nice and stable here as well. So we shouldn't see too much movement rocking from side to side. If you're struggling a little, that bottom leg can press right down into the ground. And you can make those circles smaller. We're going to reverse the direction. So in as we go away from our body and down, out as we lift that leg back up. Have a look at your toes and see if the circle you're drawing is actually a circle, or if you're drawing more of an egg or a square or something. Try and get it to go an even distance on each side. So you're going as far in as you are out, as far up as you are down. When we've done our 5, we switch legs, however you want to get there. We start coming across the body first as we breathe in, out as it comes back up, in and down, out and up, keeping the upper body relaxed. You might be pressing a little through those arms to keep you stable. Try to keep your head, neck and shoulders relaxed. And around one more here. And you might find that you're better on one leg than the other, more stable or more flexible. Good. In and out. In and out. Keep breathing nice and steady. That lower back is still gently curved off the floor, as your spine naturally is. One more here. Away from the body, across the body, and up. Beautiful. From there, we have our hundreds. If you've done these with me before, traditionally we would bring the arms up and pump, or we would have our legs out. But today I'm doing something a little different. I want you to, either with your head down or your head up in your chest lift, whatever you're capable of, look towards your feet and lift your feet to an angle that you're comfortable with. If they need to be right up, they can be right up. If they need to be further down, or if you can keep them further down, do that. Arms can either lift or press into the floor, depending on what amount of support you need. So I'm going to lift my head, lift my hands, and have my legs on about a 45. So we come up into our chest lift, reach the hands long, feet come out to our 45, and then instead of pumping the arms today, we breathe in across the feet, 2, 3, 4, 5, out across the feet, 2, 3, 4, 5, in and out. We keep going until we get to 100, in and out, in and out, in and out. We're halfway, that's 50, in and out, in and out, doing well. In and out. We're about 80 through. In and out. Make sure the stomach's still brought in and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring the knees into the chest. Lay the head down. Give yourself a rest. So that should have been 100 beats. It's 10 counts of in for 5, out for 5. That's how we get to 100. If you didn't quite make it today, if you needed to lay your head down, if you needed to bend your knees, that's okay. We get there eventually. It's something we can build on. From there, we're going to do our rolling like a ball. So, if you're still on your back, good. Keep your knees nice and into your chest, and now we lift our pelvis up. So we want that lower back to bend. Hands are on our knees, and we're just going to rock back and forth on the floor until we catch enough momentum to come to sitting. From here, we're right up on our sit bones to start. Our feet come off the floor. I point mine, but you don't have to, they can relax, it's just my habit. Hands are either going to be behind our knees for our easiest option, in front for the next one, or if you're really good at these, or you want to challenge yourself, hands can be on our ankles. I'm going to start with knees. You want to rock off your sit bones onto your tailbone, so you'll feel that kind of bump. You're going to curve the spine, capital C shape as much as you can. Chin tucks in and eyes are between thighs, so we've got a nice curve here. You want your ribs and your hips to try and meet at the front, really using your abs to hold that position. From here in our balance, we breathe in to roll back, and out to roll up, and we stop before our toes touch the ground if possible. We'll go back, in to roll back, out to roll up, in back, out up. We want to make sure that your head stays tucked in and your eyes are between your thighs. We shouldn't be rolling onto our necks. If you're rolling that far, bring it in a little bit. You want to just kind of land in between the shoulder blades and up. It's too easy. Arms come down. If it's still not enough of a challenge, arms can come off, and we really have to use our abs to keep our body in that position. We're going to stop at the top, pop the feet down, and have a quick break. Making sure now we're right up on our sit bones again. Feet are about hip width. Hip width is less than you think it is often. I like to say about a fist amount in between your knees is usually how far apart your hips are. So the inside of where our legs hit our pelvis, not the outside. Arms are out in front of us, and we're gonna roll back. So we breathe in to grow tall. Same as before, we roll off our sit bones onto our tailbone. Curve that spine, breathe in and hold. Just where it's challenging, feet should stay down, breathe out, lead with the crown of the head. Breathe into stack tall. Now we've done one, I'm gonna add something else. We breathe in to grow tall. We breathe out, our arms come back. This will challenge you a little. We hold. Good, breathe out. Arms come in as we sit tall. If you can get your arms all the way out, feel free. I'm a little too close to my wall, so I'll just go halfway. We breathe in to grow tall. Breathe out to roll back. Breathe in to hold. Feet down, abs flat. Breathe out, lead with the head. Breathe in, sit tall. Breathe out. Elbows out, hands out. Go to where you can. You can keep going further, hold it here. Beautiful, and come up. One more. Go tall. Arms come wide, and we roll. We hold where it's difficult. We breathe in. Good. Breathe out, and arms come together. On this last one, I'm going to roll all the way to the floor. And arms will go overhead, legs will get straight. I'm going to shimmy down, because I'm a bit too tall for my mat here. So I want you to leave your arms above your head, and we're in our neutral. What I want you to watch out for is the rib flare. I talked about this last time, where they pop right up and there's more of an arch in the lower back. Ribs should be on the floor, and at the front, kind of plugged in, flat with your hips. So if that means you're tight through the sides and the arms won't quite touch the floor, they can just reach long ahead of you. Legs are magnetized, we're gluing them together. Heels are pressed into the floor. We breathe in to bring the arms over and breathe out. We roll up and curl over. Breathe in here. Feel the back expand, breathe out. We roll down, one vertebra at a time. So lumbar touches, mid-back touches, ribs are down, shoulders are down, head is down, arms come back. We breathe in here. Arms are over, chest lift, breathe out. Good, and we're trying to do this without momentum. So we're not throwing our body up on our way, but we're controlling it a little bit at a time. So curving through that back, more so than hinging at the hips. Good. Beautiful. We roll down. We've got one last one. Breathe in. Arms come over, breathe out. Head leads the movement. Good. We curl through the spine. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Get the pelvis down first, and then really try and push those lumbar vertebrae in. Beautiful. Arms circle around. Pardon me. One knee comes up. Both hands are either on the knee or the same side hand is on the same side shin, if that makes sense. We come into our chest lift and we pop that second foot off the floor. We breathe out to send the leg away. In through center, out to send the leg away. Good. Last two and one. This leg extends, and now we meet the other one and lower it. Meet together, lower. Meet together, lower. Your lower back here can be off the floor if you have the strength to hold it there. If you don't, it's okay if the pelvis has rolled back a little and that lumbar has touched the floor. But we're working towards being able to do this set in a neutral spine. Good. Bend the right knee in and lower the other one. Hands come behind the head now. We support the back of the neck and twist like we did in the warm-up. Breathe out, in through center, out. Good. Elbows stay in our peripheral, they don't come closer. We reach the foot away and cross the rib over the front of the body, trying to keep our height here and really letting the sides of our waist wrap and lift. Good. as we reach away. 3, 2, 1, and done. Bring the knees into the chest. Beautiful. Have a quick rest there. What we want next is a little bit of flexion in the spine. So now we've held it still for our abs, we're going to get it moving again. Laying down, hands are firm by the sides, palms are down, and I want you to be able to feel just a light pressure being applied. So the back of your arms are on for this one now. You can either do this with your knees bent and your feet together, or your legs up, whatever you feel capable of doing. You can even cross the ankles if we need to, but squeeze those legs together. You're just going to breathe out and try and lift the hips off the floor and then pop them back down. So really press through the arms, shoulders are open. We lift and we lower. What I don't want you to do is up and slam. So it's a gentle roll off and a roll down. Whatever angle on those legs works for you. We lift the hips up on an exhale and down. No pressure on the neck. You should not be pressing down with it. It's just using the lower abdominals to draw you up and then release you down. Bent knees is a little bit easier because you have less weight of your legs trying to go upwards. Last one. Up, down, beautiful. We should be nice and warm through the front here. Legs are going to come down. We're going to roll ourselves back to sitting. And we now have our spine stretch. You're going to be right up on your sit bones. Feet are either glued together or a little apart. I prefer mine together for this one. And we're right on our sit bones. If this is uncomfortable for you, then you have short or tight hamstrings or tightness in the back, you can bend the knees off a little, or you can pause the video, go grab a cushion or a thick book or something to sit on, because if we're propped up a little, then there's a decrease in the angle of the legs. It feels a little better. So, once we're comfortable, I'll give you a second. Hands can either be resting on the knees or lifted. We breathe in to grow tall. We breathe out and curl our spine forward. Lower back reaches away as the upper back reaches forward. We breathe in at the bottom and we breathe out to rebuild the spine. At the top, head should be on shoulders, ribs should be on hips. We don't have an arch or a flare anywhere from here. Breathe in again. Good. Out to reach forward. Roll it back up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. We're going to add an extension here. If it's uncomfortable for you, you can leave it out and just keep doing the same motion we've been doing. I'm going to breathe in to grow tall. Breathe out to lean forward. Everything rolls off my hips from here. On my breath in, I'm going to try and lift the arms, look forward. Good. Breathe out and roll back. The idea would be that at this angle here at the front, I'll be able to straighten the spine, look forward, pick the arms up. Good. And then breathe out. Stack tall. One more. Breathe in here, breathe out, lean forward. Good. Once we've got a nice flexion in that spine, we're going to extend it. We're going to shoulder the chest forward, curl back over again, and then breathe out to stack. Ribs on hips, head on shoulders. I'm going to spin around to face you. You're going to go cross-legged. If you can't go into a Z sit, which is what I'm going to go into today. So those are your two options. You need to sit cross-legged, or you can sit with one shin facing forward and one shin facing the side. We're going to do our side reach. Arms are out to a T and we're nice and tall. Try and keep both hip bones sitting on the floor. Again, if this one's lifting up, grab that cushion or something to put underneath it so you can feel both of them pressing down. Beautiful. We're going to breathe in to grow tall. Breathe out and tilt. In and reach. We tilt and we sit. We're going back the same way. Into tilt, out to reach, top arm over, into tilt, and out to sit. As we tilt and lean, the top arm is long and strong, that hip bone that we're leaning away from stays where it is. So as I reach this way, this hip really presses down, top arm strong over the top, good, and then my obliques pick me back up. We've got one more. Breathe in, out to reach, into tilt, out to sit. Now we're gonna still tilt to the same side, but top arm is gonna swoop around and reach toward the hand that's on the floor. We breathe in, we stay in our tilt here, and breathe out, good. Feeling those shoulder blades spread apart on my back. I've got a nice stretch in between there now. Last two. And one. You can hold it here for a second. You can grab hold of the other wrist if it's not quite on the floor. Give yourself a little extra help pulling around. Good. And we sit back up. Swing those legs around. If you've been cross-legged, you're going to stay on the same side, but you're going to focus on that opposite hip again, really pressing down. We grow tall through the waist. Try and get some space between our ribs and our hips. Hands are out to the side. We breathe in. Breathe out to reach, into tilt, and out to sit. Now we know what we're doing. We can speed it up on this side a little. Tilt and sit. Reach over, really press through the opposite hip. Reach the top arm, tilt and sit. Good, over and reach, tilt and sit. We're gonna add the turn in now. Hand comes down, top arm swoops around and reaches for the floor. Breathe in to open, breathe out. Hand comes around, into reach. Good. Out to twist, feeling those shoulder blades separate, create some space on our back. Try and bring the whole rib cage around while the hips face forward. Last one. Good. You can grab the opposite wrist and give yourself a little bit of help if you need. Enjoy that there. Over we go. And sitting back up. You're probably still facing one way. I'm going to spin and roll down to my back. We're going to work on the back of the body a little. So, feet hip width apart again, or fist between the knees to check that's roughly the right distance. We've got the middle toe pointed forward, all three corners of the foot on the floor, so the inside and outside of the ball of the foot and the heel. And we're in our neutral spine. We've got our little curve in those two places. Hands are down by our sides. Not using them too much, they're just there for support. All we're gonna do is breathe out and press into a hip lift, breathe in to come down. So the spine doesn't curve this time. It stays in a nice flat plank. At the top, we've got a straight line between the shoulder and the knee. And we're really powering from the back of the legs now. You shouldn't be feeling this in your lower back. If you are, take the range of motion down a little bit and focus on that connection in the back of your legs. I like to think about drawing my hip bone, my leg, into my hip socket. And I should feel that right in the connection between my glute and my hamstring, my butt and my leg. Same thing now, except we're going to go up onto the toes. So move the feet in a little if you need to. We're up on the balls of our feet, heels are up, and we're doing 10 more. We got 10, 9, 8, good, 7, 6, knees are staying nice and parallel, not letting them flare out. Legs are squeezing, head, neck, and shoulders are relaxed. We're wide through those collarbones. The weight isn't going onto our neck. Last one. Good, and when you put your heels down, you're going to knock the heels together and point the toes out slightly. We're not all the way out, we're just kind of in a little V. We call it the Pilates V. You're going to readjust, get your position, and from there, we do 10 more. 10, 9, 8. Good, so obviously the knees are out this time. Keep breathing out at the top. out to press, into lower, out to press, into lower. This can be our last one. I'll admit I've lost count. And we come on down. Feet are going to go back into parallel. We're going to press up into our hip thrust position or a shoulder bridge position. So shoulders are down, collarbone is wide, hands can stay down for this. And we're really driving through the whole foot. I can feel it especially in my heel. I can feel this in between my legs, trying to stop my knees from flaring. Then what I want you to do, without shifting the weight too much, is just lift one leg and lower it. Lift and lower. We alternate for 10 marches. Good, so this opposite hip really presses to the roof. The foot picks up, there shouldn't be too much wobbling. Good, I can't stress enough here. If this is hurting your lower back, stay away from these for now until we've learned to hold ourselves up through the glute and the leg and not the back. If it's in your lower back, go back to your regular hip thrusts or have a little stretch. Last one on the right, last one on the left, and down. Give our back of our legs a little rest. We're going to do something for our coordination. So, sorry, I'm just shimmy out my mat because I get lost at the end. We're going to pick both arms up to the ceiling like we did in the warm-up. And both knees. They don't need to be glued together, they can be separate here. We're in our neutral spine, so our lower back is slightly off the floor. I just want you to extend one hand and the opposite leg away from you, and then back to the center. Extend away and back, keeping our alignment. So the arm comes overhead and is just in line with that shoulder, almost grazing our face. Our posture stays the same, our back doesn't arch or curve excessively. Breathing, the hip, knee, and foot are all in alignment. They go straight out the front, and our ribs stay plugged in at the front here to our hips. Belly doesn't pot out. We're not spilling that tea down the bottom. We're almost there. Good. Last one. Now what I want you to do is extend the leg and arm, both of them, closest to me, and roll onto that side. And shimmy back. You're going to have your head propped on your hand here, and that waist really lifted off the floor. My ribs are still touching the floor, but that lower side of my waist is up. My feet are angled slightly out in front of me, and see how when you lay on the side, that hip likes to sneak in towards you. Press along through the waist so the knees and ankles are stacked. We lift our top foot here. You flex the foot back, point the toes back, got myself confused, and flex the foot forward. In to come back, out to go forward. In to come back, out to go forward. And we're really trying not to sway too much. I struggle with these. The one thing that really helps me is pressing that bottom leg away into the floor and keeping the range quite small. So you don't want to arch your back to do this, it's just the leg. And then you don't want to kick your pelvis forward. You want to stay lifted and just bring it to where you can feel that hamstring is telling you that that's your range. Beautiful. Those are our side kicks. We now drop the head onto the arm, making sure we're still lifted, we're in alignment. So head, shoulders and hips all together, and then hips, knees, ankles are slightly in front of us. Next we do our leg lift. So the knee is going to turn to face the roof a little bit, and we just lift that leg up and lower it down. We're not kicking, we're just lifting gently and lowering only as far as you can go without the opposite side, that bottom waist sinking down. It stays lifted. Good. Hip stays right forward. You want it pointing at the roof. If you are too far forward or too far back, you won't feel it in the same position that I'm hoping for you to feel it. Pressing through the bottom leg. Good. 2. And 1. Bend that top knee, put the foot down, and just get that top leg out the way. Some people will be right up here. I can't really hold that unless I use the opposite arm. Some people will be way out here. So long as it's out the way of this bottom leg. The bottom leg, not turned out, knee facing forward, is just going to lift and lower. Good. Lift and lower. So top leg still, We are relaxed through the head, neck and shoulders. If you're finding that your neck's kind of cranked on a weird angle, you can always grab that pillow from before and prop your head up on your arm. Good. Using the inner thigh to lift the leg here. 3, 2, 1. And then legs back together. As we breathe in to get ready, we breathe out, the legs reach away and up just slightly. Into lower. Out to lift. Into lower. We're using the top of our waist now to lift up and down. Hand here for support. If you feel like it's too easy, can come up. This isn't too easy for me. I'll probably wobble and fall. And we're using the top waist to pull us up as the legs reach away and up. One more. Beautiful. You can roll over and face the opposite direction. I'm just going to spin around so you can still see me. So we set up for our side kicks first. I'll come a little forward so I don't hit the wall. Bottom hand is cradling the neck. Top hand is here. Feet are slightly forward of us. That top leg lifts to hip height. It flexes forward and it points back. We flex forward, point back. If you need to have a little sneaky look to make sure that hip is relatively stable. Hopefully you're doing better than I am. This is my least favorite exercise. I feel myself rocking all over the place. It's really difficult. Bend the bottom knee a bit. Give yourself a bit of extra stability while you work on it. Keep the range small. Last 2. And 1. It's better for us to learn to do it with good form and some modifications and keep powering through doing it wrong and just getting the wrong movement patterns in our body. Head comes down on the bottom arm. Grab a cushion if you need it. Hips are stacked. Knees are together. Waist is long and open. Bottom waist is lifted. Foot turns to the ceiling and we lift and lower for 8. That's 3. Good. 4. It doesn't really matter if the foot is pointed or flexed. Like I mentioned, my tendency is to point from dancing, but if you're a flexor, it's fine. 2, 1. That top leg comes down wherever you can get it. If you need to hold it out the way, you can. And the bottom leg is going to lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back down, top foot on, knees and hips together. We make sure we're flat, we're pointed straight at the roof, and we breathe out to lift and into lower. Again, trying to keep ourselves relaxed through the head, neck, shoulders. Just the bottom half of the body is lifting. I know we all kind of want to lift up or tense, but we're just going to stay here and try and relax. Cushion may help you. We reach away for 3, 2, good, and 1. Beautiful. From here, we're face down on the mat. Palms are up, shoulders are down, legs are as together as you can get them. Some people's won't go all the way. I know it's a tad uncomfortable, but we're going to go face down. You're probably getting a nice shot of my face all squished into the floor. Hopefully you can still hear me. What I want you to do is press your pubic bone, so the front of your pelvis down. You're not jamming with your glutes, but you're using them a little. And then bring your tummy away from the mat. It may not lift off the mat, but that sensation of drawing your belly button towards your spine and really getting your abs engaged. That's going to protect your lower back from arching or when we start to lift off the floor. You're going to inhale to just lift the head. So I want you to hold the head off the mat. Exhale, let it down. Inhale, hover the face. Exhale, down. You're looking straight at the floor. We haven't bent the neck. We're actually trying to get the back of the neck longer. Reaching away with the top of our head. But our face is parallel to the floor. Last one. Good. Now with the pubic bone down, the abs on, and the head looking straight at the floor, arms are going to hover. I'm going to pick up the upper back. Now the eyes can come forward to the front of the mat. And down. So our eyes will lead the movement this time. We look to the front of the mat. We lift the head, the arms reach back, squeeze our shoulder blades, and come down. You shouldn't be feeling this at all in your lower back. It should all be kind of like from your shoulder blades, from your scapula, and up. We reach, big back extension, legs are relaxed and on the floor, and down. One more. Reach back, fingers towards heels, head toward the front of the room. We're long through that neck, and down. Arms are going to come around now in front of us. Same principle, the bottom of our body isn't moving. We're pressing that pubic bone down, we're lifting those abs up. All I want you to do here, face down, leave your head down and just lift your arms and lower them. Lift and lower. Shoulders are away from our ears, so really arms plugged into their sockets. They lift and lower. You should be feeling this in your upper back. Lift and lower. Now we lift arms and head at the same time. Arms come back into a W shape. They shoot forward and we lower. We lift up. Elbows draw back. Arms reach forward and we lower. Watch the lower back on this one. Pelvis down, we lift up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And lower, feet down. Breathe in. Breathe out as we draw back. Breathe in as we reach forward and lower. Good. Arms are going to come straight out to the sides now in like a T position. I want you to lift the arms up, then the body. We reach overhead, back to our sides, lower the lot down. Arms come up first. Reaching forward, reaching out, lower. Squeeze our shoulder blades, lift your head, reach forward, reach back, and lower. Hands are underneath your shoulders, and you push yourself back to sit your bottom on your heels. Doing good, we're nearly there. Got a couple more exercises to go. We're into our plank series next. Creep those fingers forward, really try and get the heels and the bottom to touch. Big stretch through. Beautiful. Coming on to our side now. You've got two options for this again. Easier option is to use the knees and the elbow. It's more than two options, I miscounted. You can go hands and elbow for our side plank, or you can go all the way up, feet and hands. You can probably do elbow and feet as well if you like. We want to make sure we've got a nice straight line through the side of our body. I don't stack my feet, I cross them over. I usually put my top foot in front of my bottom foot. Hands should be right under my shoulder when I pop up. It needs to be a little bit further out to get me into the right position. You can use your bottom hand to press you up, or leave it on your side. You're going to press up into your side plank, whichever one that is, and the top arm reaches up. Now I want you to twist that bottom arm under and come up. Twist under and come up. Pressing the ground away with the bottom hand, not sinking into that shoulder blade. Waist is lifted. Last two. And one. Reach up. Hand comes under your shoulder. Feet should have now spun into parallel. I want you to get them nice and close together. In our plank here, we're even. Head is reaching long. We're not cranking the neck and looking forward. We're pressing through those shoulders so our shoulder blades are down and resting on our bone. And our hips are up. I want you to point the toes on one foot. Just lift to hip height and lower. Tap the toes. 4. Good. 3. 2. Use the glute to pick it up. 1. Pop those toes back under. Point the other foot. Reach up to hip height and lower. It's not the lower back. That's stayed in position. 3. Good. Lift with the glute. 2. 1. Tap the toes under, and if you can without a break, spin those feet over. Move the hand to the center and reach up. If you need to press pause and have a rest, you can. If not, here we go. We reach under and up, under and up. Good. Beautiful. Last two. Really stretch through that waist. And one. Looking up. Hand comes down. Feet spin open. And we press back into a pike. Now for people who are more flexible than me, your heels may be down and your feet, your legs may be straight. But I am more interested in the top half of your body being straight. So that line from your hands through to your hips, than I am in the bottom of your body being straight. So if that means you're all the way down here and you're kind of crouched, that's fine. Strong through the arms as we press into pike. Good. Rock into the plank. Last one. Press into pike. Hips toward the ceiling. Push through your shoulders. And then walk your feet into all of your hands. And roll on up. I'm aware that I have cut my head off, but unfortunately, where the camera is placed, you're just going to have to live with half of me. So, grab a drink if you need one, and we'll get moving. That last little bit, we're just going to work on our legs standing. I'm going to face the wall actually, or face sideways, with my hand on the wall to show you. Feet are parallel, middle toe is in line, so there's a slight angle. Both sides of the ball of the foot are down, and the heels are down. We're going to do a little squat. Move my hands out the way. These will be a little different than squats that you've done if you've done other modes of fitness before. But I want to make sure your knees don't really come over your toes. And the angle of your back is no different than the angle of your shins. So they should be parallel to one another. You want to try and keep the chest upright and not leaning forward. Now we've got a couple of those out of the way. What we're going to do is we're going to squat down. While we're in our squat, come up onto our toes, press to standing, and then lower. We'll do 10 of these. Squat, press, stand, that's 2. We squat, we press, stand, that's 3. It's a little bit of a balance challenge. If you need to use a wall, you do. If you can get away without it, that's fine. I think we're up to 5. I should talk and count at the same time. 6. Press. Go down for 7. On the toes. Stand. Heels down. Good. Squat. Toes. Stand. Heels down. 2 more. Squat. Heels up. We stand. We lower the last one. Squat. Heels up. We stand. We lower. Now we're going to reverse that movement. So what I mean is up on the toes first, then we lower into the squat, heels come down, and we press to standing. Up on toes, squatting down. Trying to do it without holding on to anything if you can. If it's a little easy for you, as you squat, arms can come above your head, and then stand. Good. Toes, squat, heels, stand. We'll call that halfway. Toes, squat, that makes it 6. Good. Up, down, heels. Couple more. Beautiful. Last 2. Squat, what? Heels, stand, even I fall over. Toes, squat, heels, stand. That's our last one. Stepping 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And we're going to lunge. This is our cool off. So you're pressing the glute of the straight leg behind you forward to try and open up the hip flexor here. You can hold on to something or you can keep using it as a balance challenge. We're just going to breathe. Body is upright. Start to relax. Press that hip forward. If you need more, you can lean back a little, or you can take the hand of the straight leg over and lean away. Beautiful. We rock back now. That's it. And try and stretch out this hamstring. Done well. We've made it. When we stretch out our hamstrings, you want your hips both pointing at the front of the room, so if you need to adjust to make that happen, or drag this foot back, we can. Coming back up, spinning around, lunging down. Heel can stay or it can come up. Whatever works for you, knees over toes, but press forward here. Getting that glute to really work to press the hip flexor forward. My muscles work in pairs, so if the back is working, the front is stretching, and vice versa. Couple more breaths. Lean it over if you need to. Good. And then I'm going to shuffle my feet, pick my toes up, make sure my hips are both facing square and forward, and lean down. Beautiful. Almost done here. Hope we're feeling good, worked, and relaxed at the same time. We're going to come up. I know you can't see me. Hopefully you've done these before. Feet are parallel. We breathe in, pick the arms out, breathe out, head rolls down. Good. Body curves a vertebra at a time. We stop at the bottom. Take a breath in. I'm going to shimmy around so you can see me. Good. Breath out. Using our abdominals to draw us up. Pelvis tucks under. And then bit by bit, as if we're trying to put our spine on the wall behind us. Another breath in with a reach up. Breathe out. Good. Head goes down. Shoulders roll forward. Ribs are off our hips. We're getting a bit of a bend. Soft knees. Wiggle it out here. Ragdoll the body. You can shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Good. I'm going to spin again so you can see me. Spread the feet out nice and wide. One hand in between the feet. Other hand comes up to the ceiling and we look to it. Good. Switch hands. Look to the other one. One more to each side. Opening that chest. Beautiful. Feet back together, and we roll on up. Beautiful. We're all done, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time.